Hello, hello there, welcome back to the stream. Let us continue with our Pillars of Eternity playthrough, shall we? We just met this fellow, Aloth.
I shall.
Let's have a look inside the inn. Those loading times, man. Has it crashed? Oh, it has. Well then. That's unfortunate. I hope this doesn't persist. Alright, let's try again. Alright, that's better.
Sure. How do you do?
Oh, greetings and welcome to the Black Hound Inn, the innkeeper Bowser had curtly. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have two available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of a good meal today. She sighs. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. I guess it's alright. Why is that not something you talk about here? It isn't by choice, I assure you. We used to serve some of the finest meals in Durwood. We had a damnable run of luck is all. It's been a bad season for the crops, and we're running low on supplies. I sent Tenfrith up north to stock up. Tenfrith, our cook, you see, an artist with a good roast, but it's been days since he was supposed to return, and we haven't seen any sign of him. She sighs again. I've only just taken over from the last owner myself. I don't know what I'll do if he doesn't turn up. Really? Her face brightens. I'd be grateful if you did. He was traveling through the Valewood. It's probably nothing, a broken wheel maybe, but I do worry. You see him safely home and I think everyone in here would sing your praises. Nobody much likes my porridge. I could use some reliable help. Oh well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by, looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Oh. So I guess I can recruit what stock characters here? But those aren't like the other companions, right, with backstory and all. Store. Do they buy all my shit? That's not a lot of gold for that. I don't know if there's if different traders will pay different amounts of gold for these kind of items. So would like a blacksmith or something pay us more for a dagger than she would? Doesn't it say the value somewhere? 5 CP. Oh, alright. Well then, in that case, I guess we'll sell it. So this is a tattered journal. Yeah, we might as well get rid of it. Monies. What's this? Retrain character. 250 CP. That's not too bad. Cancel. Hi Keegan. Yes, I do remember you. How's it going? It's been a while. Been playing quite a bit of Blood Bowl lately, but yeah, as you can see, for now it's Pillars of Eternity. You can see what your allies are up to. If you you can assign them to adventures. New task, late for dinner. Sure. What else is going on here? Let's look at the counter. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. Wait, does that have a stealing? I mean, does this game have a stealing mechanism?
Easy does it.
Oh, that would be stealing. All right, I won't take it then. Not for now, that is. Spoons hang by the fire, coated in brownish gunk. Oh, wait a second. It wasn't supposed to happen.
Easy does it.
Right, yeah, we can go down here. See if there's anyone interesting here. That would be stealing, wouldn't it? No? Sure, let's take a beer from a barrel. Just came into town. Kithalakis seem to do alright. Drunkard. Alright. What's this? The Fangs. Oh, it's like an actual story. I'll read that another time. And 3 silver. Oh, there's actually named characters. Let's talk to them. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack. One item after another. Careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all the semblance of order and shoves everything she can into the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him, for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out on high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Right, that seems to be all with her. What about him? Oh, same. Alright, you see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he's doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. 200 feet, huh? He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up a shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with a man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he loses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. He seems like one hell of a companion. Why can't I talk to him? Recruit him. So that's the upper floor. Carouser. Alright. What's this? Roaches scatter and flee. Lovely. Oh my god. I'm not gonna read all of those aloud, but I'm gonna go through it here. Okay, a bar brawl. That was Deathlock, right? So, is Shane Shakes Malrian the wizard or the boy? So that was Deathlock, Ninja Tap, Sheila, Amin. Alright, so these are all like kind of backstories of the people in this world, which is kind of a nice feature, I guess. But I would have preferred to then be able to talk with them as well. Is there anything here? Black Hound? Pet the dog. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards. How lovely. In guest. Here's a dawn.
I'll have it in no time.
Oh. What is this? Mechanics 2. What? She just
Hey
has Mechanics 1, right?
This calls for a subtle touch. I see where you're going with that.
Lockpick failed.
This calls for, I see where you're going with that.
Alright. Doesn't work, I guess. We need a rogue. Right, so that's all of it, huh? Let's go through this door. What's this, the balcony? Kinda. Who are you? Villager. Everyone's here. Everyone here is just a villager, it seems. Anything more interesting this way? What's this say? Windows are clouded. Right. The Black Hound Inn. Who are you? Villager? You? More bandits along the roads of late. You grab that. Pilgrim's Crown. See if we can find any more interesting NPCs. Ronan Turonian and Hugo. So probably just players that we can kind of find out more about their backstories, right? Yeah. See growing weed. Serene pleasure. Certainly seems like it. The weed farmer. Right, this seems like a boring town. There's nothing here. Except people we can't even talk to after we just found out everything about their past. Or important bits about their past, I guess. What do we have here? A field. The stalks feel as dry and stiff as the locust's husk. Is this literally everything there is in this town? There's some flowers here. That'd be a bit disappointing. Who are you? Also just a villager. Right, windmill. Oh, something's happening. We know there's no grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. Muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. First of you drunkards comes through that door, gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, swiner, I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Trumbull, and we'll have fair prices. Or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. Against the grain. Can we talk to them? No. Can we talk to him? What does the quest say? Tasks. Some of the farmers in Gilded Vale claim that Trumbull the miller is withholding grain. The hungry farmers are on edge, and it seems likely the situation will escalate. The Black Hound Inn in Gilded Vale has lost its beloved cook. Right, so please don't... Yeah, there we go. Oh yes, quite a lot of people here. I guess if we play our cards wrong, this could end up being a fight. An elven man stands before you. He's relatively stocky built, suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. And some other people as well. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. I don't like being threatened. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club as a fraction, or a fraction. Who are you? Is Swiner roping foreigners into his little crusade now? Trumbull shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all these Gilded Vale's had all its shine scraped off. Just a big dung heap now, and Swiner thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. Who's Swiner? The dwarf, the one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades, and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. Oh, experience. Trumbull shakes his head. Where to begin? Swiner's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores, claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town, for ale, and Swiner and his lot showed on that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers... Trumbull gestures to the sacks and containers. It's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough grain to go around. Swiner's howling after things he has no right to. Maybe I should have a talk with Swiner then. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. Well, we'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him.
Greetings.
You're back. Have you had any luck with Swiner? What's to explain? It isn't very complicated. Trumbull frowns. It's not... He pauses. Look, Swiner's always been a rotten bastard. With stores so limited, maybe I save the good stuff for people who deserve it. Orpha, for instance. She's expecting a child. Should I let her starve instead? Trumbull looks embarrassed. The innkeeper, for instance. It's better not to worry anyone. I'll be trading for supplies soon enough. We can just keep things calm until then. We'll all be in the clear. The innkeeper. Trumbull winces. I wouldn't drink the ale is all I'm saying.
Good day to you.
My father's a good man. He's always done right by the town. I'm sure father can explain better just what happened here. Oh, that'd be stealing here. Let's go outside. So this is the windmill. Ingrid's house. Blackhammer Smithery. Temple of Eothas. Edér. Alfred's house. And the Black Hound Inn. That's all, eh? Let's go to the next house, Ingrid's house. Nonto. Oh, that's the guy I met on the road earlier, huh? Ingrid. This man and woman appear to have been in deep conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Welcome.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this woman, Nonton? Nonton coughs. Yes. Yes, I think we've met in the Vale Wood. I wonder about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? You two seem to be in a hurry. You two are in good spirits for people who just lost a friend. That's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband in my fashion. Oh, that's her husband. Oh! Oh, I see what's going on here. They're fucking. And he killed him. Alright. I'm grieving my husband in my fashion. I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave Gilded Vale before this happened. What? I'm relieved to be rid of this terrible place, that's all. It's cost me the greater part of my life, and now my husband, and I'm glad to be free of it. Yeah, in a hurry getting dressed. Yes, I imagine so. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay and... She looks at Monton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Nonton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. She smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine, but the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves. Right, bye. The Durwood Part 2. Silver. What's this? Sunreed. It's half empty. Well. Oh wait, I haven't tried to see what happens if I talk to him, maybe. If there's different dialogue options.
How do you do?
No.
Greetings.
Hello again. I hope Gilded Vale has been kind to you. Oh, is the stream frozen? Let me refresh. No, seems fine. Alright. So what else do we have here? There's nothing in this house, is there? I mean, it isn't named or anything. Can we enter, though? We can. That's stealing. That is stealing too. Interesting backstory. Guess here's another backstory. Yeah, I'm not gonna read all of those aloud. That's gonna take too long. I'm gonna just go over this. What's this say? Rats. Just backstories, no one to talk to. What do we have here? Oh, who are you? Can't talk to you? Something of a ghost? Right, there isn't anything. Isn't growing anything in here. What else did we want to see? Oh, just the smithery, I guess. And maybe Ofra's house. Who are you? Oh. This worn, dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Salt-Glass Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast finned leviathan. A wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child. For she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hello.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise as she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Nice cat. Oh, thank you. She's a sweetheart. Keeps the house clear of mice, too. Who are you expecting? My sister, Kalisa. Oh. Oh. That's rough. She was our companion early on, of course, but she died. She's traveling with one of the caravans, the one we were in. She sent a letter before she came, said she was going to pay her way by working as a guard for the caravan master. She always was a tough one. She pauses. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road, or the caravan perhaps? It's Master Odima's. Kalisa didn't make it. Sorry, no, I'll be going now. Nice. We'll be honest. Afra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalisa was always so certain she could take on any danger. She sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might be still alive somewhere. Her face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. So I guess we'll have to take on Kalisa's responsibility now in a way, right? Because she was, if not our friend, then our travel companion for a while at least, and she told us about her sister who needs help. Benevolent. Quit your sniveling! How are you going to raise a child if you're this weak? Wow. Ofra wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kalisa as much as I could, but All I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many others, and now Lord Raedric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. So he has to exile himself now, I guess. She sniffs. With my Haythorn gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hoped Kalisa could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am. But I don't have anyone else now, with Kalisa gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? Wow, 20 copper. Alright. You have earned a reputation. Reputations can be held with communities or factions in the Eastern Reach and will affect how members of that group respond to you. In some cases, friends or enemies of those groups will also react to your affiliations. Helping a group will increase your positive reputation with that group. Harming a group will increase your negative reputation. It is possible to have a mix of positive and negative reputation with a group if you help and harm them in equal measure. Ofra blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you a coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of... Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Slight positive. Anslog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from traveling... or from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears.
Welcome.
I hope Ranga agrees to help. I honestly don't know what else I can do. Any chance you could tell me a few things? I can certainly try. What would you like to know? Let me think. We're farmers mostly, but there's always been work and opportunity for people coming in from elsewhere. In the old days at least, the Black Hammer Smithery's been there for a long time. That's Tuatanu's place, south of the mill. And then there's the Black Hound, just a ways south of here. She sighs, trailing off. I have to admit, I don't go out much anymore with that horrible tree out there. Things aren't like they used to be, but I don't have anywhere else to go. The Raedric family has held title over these lands for generations. They keep us northeast of here, past the Estonwood. She holds up a hand. I wouldn't go near, mind. He doesn't see visitors or petitioners, not these days. Some people say that, well, that there are some bad seeds in that line. A weaker soul, maybe that's why... She hesitates. Well, never mind. I'm sure Lord Raedric has his reasons. Was there anything else? I'll be going then. Alright. So we got another quest. Quest log's filling up. So let's go to the smithery then, or what is this house again? This is the smithery, okay. It's a big building. Commoner guard. Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. And I bet this is just backstory again, yeah. I mean, hi Melvach. I have my first companion, yeah. This is a pretty boring town, to be honest. There's like 2 people you can talk to, and the rest is... Just, I mean, I kind of like these backstories, but at the same time, I think it's a bit of a weird decision to have no one to talk to and then just random backstories and you can't speak to them. Alright. Untamed shrubs? What? Happy little shrubs. What's a Delamgan? Or a bird? No. That's what sits on their shoulder. Okay. The other one. Right, here we are.
Nice and quiet.
Done with that. Apprentice, does he have anything to say? Tuatanu, sure, we'll speak to him. The Aumawa man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face, coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome, you're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? That's a pretty stupid question. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet, all forged right here at the Black Hammer. We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near a week now, and I haven't seen a sign of it. I have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. All my workers ran off with a wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. As if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Tuatanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace Lord Rederick. He glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. We sent the wagon up to the new Heomar with weapons, and it swings around through Lockholm and the like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow and then north through the wilds. Shakes his head. Had a trader come through with word they made it to Lockholm, but haven't heard a thing since. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, tell them to hurry up. Or they can take up farming instead. So I guess I shouldn't...
How do you do?
I shouldn't trade with him, right? Unless I... or until I've done his quest, because then I get better conditions, I guess. Does have a stiletto and a better crossbow, I guess. Pretty expensive though. couple of blue items there.
I'll see what I can find.
Right, so that's everything here. Oh, this isn't stealing, interestingly. The bellows sign to the furnace, and the coals burn brighter still. Right. So this seems to be all in this village, right? Should probably be, or yeah, we could talk to Edér again, I guess, but I don't really expect him to have anything new for us as yet. Yeah. What about Urgeet? Nah. So what's this? Swiner is likely to be in the inn. Oh, I could talk to him. That's sure. That's for sure. Right, that's going to the north. Unslog's Compass. Black Meadow. Oh, I should probably get some rest for this quest. So yeah, let's go to the inn first and talk to Swinard or whatever the name is, and then get some rest. Yes, go in here. Where's he at? Does she have anything new to
Good
say?
day, stranger.
I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's here for 10 years, been here for 10 years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here too, fewer than we used to. Alright, yeah, we had that already. Could I see what he has for sale? Nope. Where's that dude? Swiner, there. Brethen Kefwin. Are these just the guys we... No, if you're not on ale, I don't have business with you. Wow.
Good day to you.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking, we're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful, looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. Smells like it too. Well, some fancies themselves a meddler, eh? What's that about? It's about Trumbull thinking he's king of the town on account he's got the mill to his name. It's about him barely giving us anything for the wheat we bring him, then cutting our purses when we need to buy grain. It's about farmers going hungry while some bastard gets rich off their crops. That's what it's fucking about, now shove off. What are you doing here then? That's a good point. What's it look like, drinking till I forget how much I want to put a pitchfork through Trumbull's face? Oh, I bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. 2 big, strong kids. Purest soul in all of Gilded Vale. Sneers. Coward sending out messengers to handle his business. Well, you can go and tell him. We haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him. We can't afford a good drink on account of him. And we won't be bullied by some foreigner on account of him. Set a blade to his neck. Attack. Might 16. Yeah, we'll do this. Haul Swiner out of his chair. If you want to fight with Trumbull, let's make it a fair one. Hey, hold on there. No need to get nasty. We won't go near the miller. Blazes, we haven't done a thing to him. We're just hungry is all. And looks like that isn't changing. You want to side with that rotten bastard? You go right ahead. You're the whole fucking town. Right? So that was a way to solve that, I guess. Come to gloat. I don't know if I agree with taking his side, but they were just aggressive and racist, and he was at least, I don't know.
Hey there.
He made his point.
Welcome.
Right, so we need a room. Lasts for 2 rests, plus 1 perception, plus 1 mechanics, plus 2 resolve. How much do we have? Like 400? Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive options. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. Interesting. It's not very much. Stash. Rest. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is a mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they're empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Witcher. Well, no, but almost. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel strange compulsion to see this woman. To see her once more, if only to confirm she's truly dead. Almost 500 XP, eh? How far are we from leveling? Oh, just 13 XP. How about him? Oh, also just 175. Neat. What's his stats? What are his stats, by the way? Might 12, Con 10, Dex 15. Perception 13, yes. Yeah, also high dex. Int 16, resolve 13, alright. Okay. So let's go to that tree. Witcher. Is it middle of the night? Day 3, hour 25. What, do they have like 26-hour long days?
Yeah?
Like in... Was it Battlestar Galactica, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go to that tree. Oh, there's something weird going on.
I have received confirmation that Lord Radric's heir was not born well. My lord has issued an injunction on all new homesteads until he can be assured that the village has been cleansed of all Eothasians and whatever other undesirables that have brought this curse upon his lands. It would be best if you left town as soon as possible. I would suggest returning to your old home. There will be no place for you here. You may stay at the inn until you can make the necessary arrangements, but I would not advise remaining long. I expect Lord Radric will be most thorough in his efforts to purify this place.
This is outrageous. Trust me when I say it would be best if you were not here when Lord Radric's men are dispatched from his hold. They will be looking for anyone who might have brought the legacy upon us, whose very presence might have polluted his wife's womb. Oh my god. Whose very presence might have polluted his wife's womb. They will extinguish all possibilities. Well, I'm a death godlike, so... and a cipher, so... I don't know. What's this?
You must gather your
I
party
can...
before venturing forth.
What? Oh, you must gather your party before venturing forth? Where have I heard that before? Can I interact with her? Also, what's this? Bracelets, wilting flowers, and notes half erased. Caldara de Beranzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from the thin, crooked bow that sags at the tuck of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new and familiar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she's staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in the misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes? Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no? Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be. The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a witcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their honor can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder. Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Meerwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Oh, yes, entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though. And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of her buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found? Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Of course, dear.
Alright.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldera closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. You were granted Crucible of the Soul. 900 experience. Elf looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. I'm a witcher. Well, that's interesting. And I expect that explains how you survived the Bierwalk, huh? In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably best to share these things. Only that they're rare, and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions, as you just demonstrated. Right, another level. Let's see if we can talk to that. Does he have any new dialogue?
Zip.
Oh, he does. The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye. Well, he can't, because they're not visible. But anyways. But the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
Oh, he's a peckish rogue, isn't he? I'm sorry.
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta. The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Oh, and here I thought that's how many people you've killed. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Edér. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved. I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
So you're already familiar. Still, you'll have to forgive my curiosity. Around here we prefer to turn a blind eye to our dead.
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially.
Well, I'm a cipher and a watcher.
Come to these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
Hey, don't blame me. I don't have a say. You can take my word
The
for
town's had
that.
it in for me for a long time now. Only fella who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
Saints War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's living incarnation of Eothas. Overthrows Redseras, marches on Dyewood. So he gave him a Dyewoodian hello.
We blew him up.
He smiles at this, but it's a smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Got a rebirth and redemption, formally anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. I got time. Got involved. Redrick sent men down the other day. Said they had on good authority someone in town was working for Kosk, plotting Redrick's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, I'd hang every last one of us. No one's coming forward. Knows within, that's my headman. He stands up and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on the tree. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for plotting against Redrick, then for protecting me. Who's Kolsk? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now, probably will be till they catch him.
Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
And they did.
Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Aloth glances at you in Lois's voice. You can see why I was eager to leave? He gives a half smile. Drinking, mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there. I don't think Waydwin's legacy started with Waydwin. Could travel together. Where you headed?
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say Watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Ah, there's a fine reason if I ever heard one.
All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Yay! We do have a tank now. I guess... At least I guess that's what he is, huh? Some kind of warrior. Got a good amount of health. What's he using? Saber. 15 to 22. 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 using Saint's War Armor. 735. PS-proofed second chance. Alright. So he is a first level fighter from the Meadow Folk. Let's see a wood elf. Background Edér gentry. The Durwood farmer. 16 might, 16 con, 11 dex, 12 perception, 10 int, 13 resolve, 2 athletics and 1 lore. Also 2 survival. Constant recovery, fighting spirit and knockdown. Alright, yeah, that's the same thing Khaleesi had. We all got a level. I will assign this later though. Yeah, this is gonna be it for today. Yeah, I'm off. I'm not sure I'll be streaming tomorrow. Maybe Sunday evening, rather. We'll see, we'll see. Bye bye.